Okay, so picture this. You're stepping onto the court or the field, maybe even the ice, right? And you've got this secret weapon, kind of like a personalized playbook, but like built on mountains of data. And it's all designed to help you be your absolute best. That's the kind of game changer we're diving into today with Force8 Coach.
Hmm.
Yeah, so this online platform is totally changing how athletes and teams manage their performance. And we've got a ton of materials to unpack today. But, instead of just going through a list of features, we really want to dig deep, like really understand how this technology could actually impact, well, you, no matter what level of athlete you are.
Yeah, no, it's really fascinating to me how Force8 Coach brings everything together in one place. We're talking schedules, competition results, even like personalized fitness videos. I mean, it really is like having this virtual command center for your like whole athletic journey.
Totally. And you know what's really cool? This isn't just for, like, the LeBron Jameses of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they've even got a branch called My Ice Hockey, which to me shows they're serious about making this platform work for specific sports, any level, from, individual athletes all the way up to entire federations. It's pretty wild. Okay, but let's actually jump into some of these modules, because I gotta say, when I was looking at this stuff, I was blown away by how much this platform actually does. Like, first up, you've got training planning. But this isn't just like your average workout calendar. Imagine like all your workouts, drills, even your heart rate data, it's all feeding into this one system.
It's like instead of just going through the motions, you can see the bigger picture, right?
Wow.
You can track your progress in real time and then like actually understand how each workout is impacting your overall performance.
Exactly. And this is something I know can be a headache for a lot of athletes and teams competition organization. Ugh, just dealing with all of that. But Force8 Coach, like, streamlines everything. Schedules, results, even communication within the team.
Think about how much brain space you waste just trying to keep track of everything.
Oh, tell me about it.
With Force8 Coach, it's all right there. So you can actually focus on, performing your best.
That's huge. Okay, now for the part that like really made me go, whoa, athlete monitoring. This is where data analysis gets like really, really granular. We're talking about individual tests, performance ratings, those in-depth progress reports, all designed to like really pinpoint your strengths and weaknesses.
Imagine you know exactly what to focus on in your training to get that extra edge. It's powerful stuff.
It's like having a personalized roadmap for like your athletic development. And it's not just about, the physical side of things either. Like they've got the health management module. This covers medical profiles, nutrition. They even have menstrual cycle tracking for female athletes. Like they really are thinking about the whole athlete. But before we get too far, I want to pause for a second because there's this one quote from the materials that really stuck with me. Bjorn Bruheen, he's the research coordinator at Swissgun, he said, by methodically collecting data, I love that, methodically, we gain valuable insights that improve the athlete's planning and results. So it's not just about like collecting data just to have it, right? It's about using it to actually make a difference. And that's got to be where Force8 Lab comes in, right? It's like, it's one thing to collect all this data, but you've got to actually make sense of it all.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Force8 Lab is all about taking that raw data, all those numbers, and like turning it into something you can actually use, like actionable insights.
Okay, so say I'm an athlete, right? What's that actually look like for me? What am I seeing when I log into Force8 Lab?
Okay, so imagine this. You log in, right, and you see these like dashboards, but like custom dashboards that like visually break down all your performance data.
Okay.
So you might see how your sleep from the last week. So yeah, how's that impacting, how you're recovering after workouts, or maybe how your nutrition is affecting your energy levels throughout the week.
Oh, wow.
You could even see like if your training load is putting you at higher risk of injury.
So you're not just seeing like numbers on a spreadsheet. You're seeing the story those numbers are telling.
Exactly. Like connecting the dots.
That's incredible. And I bet that's so valuable for like not just the athletes, but the coaches too.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's clear that it's having an impact. They've got like testimonials from coaches on their website. Like Marcus Buck, he's the head of competitive swimming at Swiss Aquatics.
Ah.
Yeah, and he was saying that, working with Force8 has been like the right choice for them, because their whole step-by-step approach, it really matches how his team already approaches like, their training philosophy.
I love that they highlight that whole like step-by-step thing, because to me that says like they're not just throwing this technology at teams and being like, all right,
Yeah.
figure it out, It seems like they're really like working hand in hand with these teams to make sure that both the athletes and the coaches, they're getting the most out of it.
Yeah, and it's a good example of how this kind of technology, it should be about like adding to the human element of coaching,
Yeah.
not trying to like replace it altogether. Like Force8 Coach, it gives athletes and coaches more information, but it doesn't tell them what to do.
That's a really good point. You still need that human connection, that understanding, that ability to like look at things individually and adapt based on individual needs. You can't just get that from an algorithm.
Exactly. And that actually brings up something really important. I think, when we're talking about all this data, it's important to remember that at the end of the day, like this technology is about helping athletes, you know, like helping them be as healthy and as successful as they can be. It's
Right.
a tool to improve performance.
And that's what I think is so fascinating about all of this, right? It's not like this isn't about just crunching numbers or whatever. It's about like actually empowering athletes and teams to get better.
Yeah, yeah. It really makes you think about the future of all this, right? Like
Right.
sports in general.
Totally.
What happens as this stuff becomes more and more common?
Right. Like on the one hand, you could say it levels the playing field in a way. Right. Like imagine a world where like a high school athlete can get the same level of like data analysis as an Olympian. It's like, yeah, like democratizing like all that science. It's not just for these like elite programs with tons of money.
Totally. But
Yeah.
then there's that other side of it too, where it's like, well, what if this actually creates like a new kind of divide?
Yeah.
Like what if being good at sports becomes even more about who has like the best data?
It's a good point, right? Like, could we see like an arms race?
Oh,
Or it's like
right.
teams trying to get even the smallest advantage.
And it's like, and it goes beyond like the pros too, right? Like think about all the like youth sports
Yeah.
out there.
Oh, man.
Like what happens when parents and coaches have access to this kind of information?
Yeah. That's a whole other, like, conversation.
Totally. It makes you think about like, how do we use this stuff responsibly? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with like younger athletes who are still like, growing and figuring things out.
So, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, next time you're like watching a game or you're seeing, some crazy highlight or whatever, think about the role that data is playing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild to think about, like, are we entering this like new era of athletics where it's like it's all about data, and if so, like what does that actually mean for like the future of all this, sports as we know it?
Yeah, that's a big question. Kind of exciting, but also maybe a little bit,
Totally.
Like I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
Well, one thing's for sure though, like things are changing,
Mhm.
and platforms like Force8 Coach, I mean, they're the ones kind of leading the way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Driving it forward.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, that's for sure. All right, well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive into Force8 Coach. Big thanks to you for, breaking it all down for us.
Yeah, of course. Happy to do it.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us, and be sure to tune in next time for another deep dive.